everyone, it's Tambarmbaa here, also known as Tammy Klinger. Thanks for joining me on my channel today. Today I'm creating an Art by Marlene art journal page. So I thought I'd show you how I use her gorgeous papers. So that's from the Arty paper pad, that piece, which is ABM SFT PPO3, and I've just torn a large section of it and used gel medium to adhere it to my page. And then I'm just coming in with some paint. So what I try to do is actually mimic and extend out the paper. So I'm using some ballet in there, paint, and some ho ho ho, which is the red. And then that one is called that's Azure as well. Which is a nice deep aqua. So I'm just kind of building it out, and every now and then I come in with a stencil. So the stencil I'm using is an Art by Marlene's when she designed for the Crafters Workshop, which is TCW780, and I think it's a Botanicals. Yeah, so just kind of filling in the gaps at the moment. So then I've also used the lighter aqua, which is Mermaid, the yellow, which is Happy, and that strong green, which is Envy. Sorry about that little problem with I knocked my camera, so it probably made you feel a bit sick there for a moment. So yeah, I'm just kind of trying to make it look like one piece. So it's a matter of doing a few layers, putting a few colours over the top of some of the paints, over the top of some of the other paints once they're dry, and then rubbing it back. So you'll see in that bottom corner I've just put the pink over the blue, and it gives a gorgeous sort of almost a purpley colour, and it just merges everything together. So quite a bit of stencil work here and there. And then what I've done, I'm still filling in a few little gaps, just using my finger really. And then I've got that stronger bit of orange sort of scribbly bit through, so I'm just using a paintbrush to carry that outwards, and also add a few more bits here and there just to make it look like it's all part of it. So I've now come in with a bit of white, which is the lace. Just felt like it was really bold and just needed a little bit of a tone down, so a little bit of white over the top rubbed back through your stencil will help with that. So now I've come in with one of my favourite stamps, which is called Writing on the Wall, and it's ABM ES Stamp 76, and I'm just using an archival ink, and I'm not putting it on a block because I don't want it to be perfect. I want it to just look a bit like part of the background. So then I've come in with a pen and just continued some of those black scribbles along the page. And now I've got some of the ho ho ho, which is red paint, and I'm just copying some of those little blobby bits and little circles, and yeah, just extending it out. I'm doing the same here with some the white, which is lace, and I think white is magic. It just tones it all down when it has got a bit much. So a few brush strokes, and then just adding a bit of water and a little bit of splatting. Okay, so I'm leaving that to dry. And then I'm coming in with a stamp called Borderline, which is ABM ES Stamp 77. And I'm using the scallop. So I've just put archival ink and just stamping a couple of those out. And then I'm also coming in with another stamp called Dramatic Dots, which is stamp BM70. And I'm using some of the little circly parts and a couple of the larger flower stamps. So I'm just stamping onto white cardstock, and I do a quick dry with a heat gun just to set it, and now I'm just going to cut them all out. So okay, so once they're all cut out, I then come back to my page, and I'm just sort of laying them out, thinking what I want to do. I've decided to run them across the centre. This is something I do a lot in my work. So just to give a little bit of a background, so it's not just like images plonked on, I've got the other, it's sort of like a circly pie chart from that Dramatic Dots set, same set as this circles and flower, and I'm just putting some in the background. and then I'm doing the same with some of the medium-sized circles in there. So it's just so there's some background work for me to add some of the cutout images to. So instead of using the scallops, I kind of didn't know what I wanted to do with those, but what I've done is actually cut some, because each scallop has a different pattern, I've actually cut some rough little circles out from them just to create, you know, a bit more interest and a bit of different patterns. So now I've come in back to the borderline stamp and using the stitching. So that's the same stamp set as the scallop, but there's a sort of a zigzag stitching. And I'm just creating more lines in the background, so they kind of just give it a lot of interest. And I also use the circles from that same stamp set and just pop a few of those in. Now you'll see I held over the top the scallop again, but I decide not to go with it. I decide to instead just add some black and white stripes, which is something I put often in my work. So I've done the black, and while that's drying I decide to adhere my the cutout stamps, which those flowers and circles, and I'm just doing that with the sticky glue, which is awesome. Sticky multi glue, and the code is ABM Glue 01. So I'm just popping them down, and you can see now that on my stamping work runs across the center of my page, and hopefully you can probably still just see that the line of the paper, but it's quite hidden. You have to kind of really look for it. So that's the whole idea, is to just blend it in. So now I've grabbed the stickers set, and I'm looking for a sticker, ABM STIC03, and I've chosen one that says, "When nothing goes right, go left." And I just thought that suited this because it's quite a chaotic, busy, colourful page. Now I'm back in adding the white into the stripes, and then I kind of didn't do that very well, so I've come back in with the black again to make the lines stronger. And then I'm just using the Happy paint, the yellow, and the Ballet is the pink, and I'm just dotting. So what's perfect about those is that they have the little nib, and so I'm just actually colouring in some of the dots that are on some of the stamps. And then I also come in with a black pen and decide it needs a little bit of depth here and there, so I'm just adding some black circles with a paint pen, and I want them to be quite rough. And so I'm also going around with the pen some of the stamps that I've adhered, just to sort of add scribbly and make them really look like they're in the page and not just plonked on top. So now I decide to add just some hand-written journaling in those little stripes in the flowers are perfect for adding some journaling. So I'm just sort of writing about taking a deep breath in and out and putting that on repeat. I think in the other one I write, "Remember there's always wine and gin." And I really like how those lines, because they're sort of uneven, makes your writing a bit more interesting. So yeah, so it's always fun to add some journaling to your pages. And in that left hand side I add, "You've got this." So yeah, then I decide to add some white dots with the white lace. So again, just straight from the tube, dotting it on, and I really like how that looked. So I actually then coloured in some of the other circles black again, and then just came back in with a white dot. So that, I think, is pretty much it. Oh, I just add a few white splatters again over my page, over the whole thing, and then I'm just pulling back the washi tape for that lovely white magic border, and that is it. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this fun, colourful page, and I will be back to share more with you soon. So thank you for watching.